Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Please, what was the cause of the United States Civil War?
Well, don't come with an easy question or anything. I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do. What do you think the cause of the Civil War was? I'm sorry?
I'm not running for president. I wanted to see yours a good thing on the cause of the Civil War.
I mean, I think it always comes down to the role of government and what the rights of the people are. And I will always stand by the fact that I think government was intended to secure the rights and freedoms of the people. It was never meant to be all things to all people. Government doesn't need to tell you how to live your life. They don't need to tell you what you can and can't do. They don't need to be a part of your life. They need to make sure that you have freedom. We need to have capitalism. We need to have economic freedom. We need to make sure that we do all things so that individuals have the liberties so that they can have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to do or be anything they want to be without government getting in the way. What do you want me to say about slavery?
You've answered my question. Thank you.
Next question.
All right, shalom to the hopeful elect, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, call on Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai. All praises, honor, and glory be to our power, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, which is the name of the Heavenly Father, and his only begotten Son, the Heavenly Father's name being Yahweh, and the only begotten Son's name being Yahushai. So honors also be to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and like-minded elders is teaching this word truthfully and in sincerity. Barakim La, Habayath, Madabada, blessings to the house of David, which are you brothers laboring on the four corners of the earth, giving all diligence to make your calling and election sure, helping seal the elect of the nation of Israel for the return of our Lord. Hamashiach Yahushai is at hand, and to the Akim Wa'akwath, brothers and sisters that also listen and believe on the glorious gospel being preached, who also make up the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, also known as the elect. Unto you I say shalom. Shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Brother Sagalah back with another lesson, all through the Spirit. Pray this lesson is edifying, exhorting, and comforting unto the believers. So this is a lesson through the Spirit, and I saw this about a week ago, and I've just been meditating on going into it as you watch all the political theater, as I'm going to title this lesson. This is all political theater, but the underlying thing, the silver lining in it all is that, we always can see prophecy. We always can look and see, the things that go on and know that it's all spiritual and the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Shai, causing these things to come up. Now, we just saw the video and some of the audio is a little bit harder to hear. I'm going to turn this back down and through the Spirit of the Lord. Some of the audio is probably harder to hear, but there was a guy who asked Nikki Haley, who right now she's the lead candidate as far as the presidential candidates, because they're trying to take Trump off the ballot in most states. So we'll see what all comes of that. But on the Republican side, she's the lead, candidate right now after Trump. So as it stands, if he's not allowed to be on the ballots, he won't be able to run. And she, at this point, would be the next person up. And then DeSantis is right behind her. So when you watch, this whole thing unfold, you see that the Spirit of the Lord is really revealing so much. There's so much going on. And this is just something that kind of caught my eye through the Spirit of the Lord. So she spoke about, not wanting to speak on slavery being the cause of the Civil War. Right. And, it's so obvious and such a blatant disregard. It just shows you the mindset that these heathen, these devils have. Right now, she's an Elamite. Let me go and show that. She's an Elamite right through the Spirit, where, her father is an Elamite, a so-called East Indian man. And this is him right here on the screen and her family. And you see right here as well, this is her mother and her father back here. right? And this is Nikki Haley, the governor of South Carolina. Now, she actually has another name, but, you know, I guess this is the name that she's went by since she's been in the Americas. Or at some point in time, I don't know her whole backstory, but she does have a different name when you look into Nikki Haley. She has her Elamite name, right? So now, once again, she's an Elamite. You know, she's a so-called East Indian woman that's running for president here in Babylon in America. But it still shows you that these nations don't have no regard for the children of Israel. And I'm going to show this here because she was asked a question, you know, what caused the Civil War? And she didn't say anything about slavery, which is a blatant disregard and slap in the face, but it's all through the Spirit of the Lord that we see these things. And this is from the ACLU, right? Now, when you go into these Confederate states, right, who was trying to cede the Union, so on and so forth, it was because of slavery, ultimately, that we know that the Civil War took place. That was the key central portion of what caused the Civil War to ensue. And here's the proof of it. Right, I just went to this website here, aclu.org, right, and look at what it says. It's time to tell the truth about the Confederacy and its symbols. So it's going into the Confederate flag. And it's just touching on the fact of what that symbol really means, because people will say that it means, you know, it's speaking about heritage and Southern pride and all of this. And truth of the matter is, it's a symbol of hate. It's a symbol of oppression, etc. Now let's show why this article is here and is touching on this. This is from the ACLU.org. It says, our position, these were the Confederate States speaking here. Our position is thoroughly identified with the institution of slavery, the greatest material interest of the world. So having slaves, Jake, you Israelites being enslaved, it says right here, right, which was a letter written from the Confederate States. It says that the institution of slavery is the greatest material interest of the world. Its labor supplies the product, which constitutes by far the largest and most important portions of commerce of the earth. So this was the largest, right? And it says in most important portions of commerce of the earth. So this was all that trade, you know, all the trade that was going on when you go back into the 16, the 17, 1800s. And this was Jake, were the first commodities on Wall Street. And right here, it's labeled and spoken of as the most important portions of commerce of the earth. Speaking of slaves, you Israelites, these products they were called, our people were called products. These products are peculiar to the climate verging on the tropical regions, and by an imperious law of nature, none but the black race can bear exposure to the tropical sun. These products, these slaves, which were called products, have become necessities of the world. And a blow at slavery is a blow at commerce and civilization. So this was, right, how Esau's world was created, was through slavery, the rape, rob, and murder of the children of Israel. But slavery nonetheless, and all that came with it. And you keep hearing about commerce, right? Commerce over and over. So you slaves were the first commodities on Wall Street, which are the Israelites, right? Starting right here in North America with Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. So that's what Deuteronomy 28 and 68 is all about. And there's no way around it. So for this Elamite here to deny, to act as if slavery wasn't the cause, just as a very well-educated woman, you know, went to Ivy League schools and, you know, has lived a very privileged life here in America, her and her family. And here it talks about how she built her $8 million fortune. And, she's worked in the, when you go into a little bit of her history, she's worked in corporate America, and, she's had a very, very good life here in Babylon. Now, the point being here goes another picture of her father. You're right, and her mother, Elam. That's an older picture there. Now, so going back to the point, she didn't want to acknowledge the fact that slavery actually took place. And that says a lot. Let's get a few precepts, right, going into that. This is all prophecy. This is all written that it will be this way. So we clearly can see and know that this is our enemies. These are our enemies who don't even account us as anything. They looked at our people, you Israelites, as less than animals. Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. They made no account of our labor. The fact that we actually built America, right? And to these Edomites and these other nations, it don't mean nothing. It didn't matter. It's almost like it didn't happen, right? They made no account of our labors. So now, why is that important? Because when you heard this Elamite who's running for president, right, speak on the Civil War, she act like slavery, like it was not even a part. She even said at the end of that video that, well, what do you want me to say about slavery? He said, well, for it to be 2023 and you basically not to even speak on it, it pretty much says everything, Now, they made no account of our labors. So that's all found here in the scriptures. Let's show that further. This is the book of Zephaniah. Zephaniah 2 in verse 1, it says, gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation, not desired. So Israel is known as a nation that's not desired. Now here in the NLT, Zephaniah 2:1 says, gather yourselves, yes, gather together, you shameless nation. And what are our people ashamed of? They're ashamed of, right here in Jeremiah 17 chapter, not having a heritage, right? Not having a heritage, not knowing who they are, not having any record of their ancestry. But really the true record of our ancestry is found here in the Bible. So a lot of these nations can trace back through, through records, a lot of their, great grandfathers going back hundreds of years. But that's not the case with Jay, because we were sold on the four corners of the earth, right? So what makes us, once again, a shameless nation, a nation not desired? Jeremiah 17:4, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. So the Most High discontinued us from having knowledge of us being the Israelites. That's why the average Israelite, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American person today on the earth will call themselves by any number of different names, but they will not call themselves the children of God. They will not go by their respective tribes because they've been discontinued from their heritage, which was really the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and Leviticus, the 26th chapter, right? That's how we became a nation not desired. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies. And that's what we're doing now. So we have this Elamite here, which are our enemies, that won't even acknowledge who we were, won't even acknowledge that slavery is actually a key component to, or the major component to the Civil War, which is the question she was asked about. Why wouldn't she speak on that? Because they made no account of our labors. See, it's all found here in the scriptures. Jeremiah 17:4, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, which will be here in Babylon and on the four corners of the earth. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. So that fire, that anger of the Lord was us going into slavery, being discontinued, or our heritage, the knowledge of who we were being taken away, right? So that's the proof of that, right? That's the proof of that. Now, They made no account of our labors. This precept also comes to mind, right? About them making no account of our labors. This is the book of Jeremiah 30 and verse 17. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds. And that healing is going to come by way of salvation, having those new bodies. That's when we're going to truly be healed. Now, this word is like spiritual ointment that we're taking now, which is keeping us, and it's reinvigorating our spirit and bringing us back to life. This word is spiritual resuscitation. That's why Yahweh Shah said, now you are clean through the word. So we're cleaning ourselves up and we're being resuscitated by the breath, which is the Holy Spirit. But when we're truly restored back to perfect health is when we have salvation. Adawan Ratazah, we're of that number. You brothers, you believe in brothers and you sisters. That's of the elect. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith Yahweh, because they called thee an outcast, who? The children of Israel, a nation not desired, a nation that they made no account of our labors. They didn't act like, slavery. They want to treat it like a distant memory, like it never happened. It says, they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after, showing you that that's that nation that's not desired. No man seeketh after Zion, the Israelites, right? They're the lowest of the low. Although we are the people of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, the God of heaven and earth, we are truly the Israelites, but no man seeketh after us. We're a nation not desired. They made no account of our labors. Now, this is the book of Micah 2, and going to the point in verse 2, and they covet fields and take them. It says, by violence and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. So the children of Israel have been oppressed, and their houses and their heritage has been taken away. Right. So that's why the Israelites are once again discontinued from their heritage. It's been taken away by the man of sin, also known as the violent man of the earth. Right. He's the mischief maker on the planet, the red horse, Esau Edom, the man that took peace from the earth. So that's the true reason why the children of Israel are so low today, right? Which was all by way of the curses and by the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Let me get a few more and we'll close it out. I just want to touch on the fact that that's why we're not even acknowledged at the G20 summits, at all of the meetings of the nations, right? They never make any account. The UN, the General Assemblies, we're not accounted for. It's as if we don't exist. We don't have a chair there. It's the book of Lamentations 2, and I'm going to start at verse 13. Lamentations 2 and 13. What thing shall I take to witness for thee? What thing shall I liken to thee, O daughter of Jerusalem? What shall I equal to thee, that I may comfort thee, O virgin daughter of Zion? For thy breach is great like the sea. Who can heal thee? Who can heal us? Right? And that's going back to Isaiah, the first chapter. Those wounds and sores, wounds, bruises, and putrefying sores. Right? Who can heal us? Verse 14, thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee, and they have not discovered thine iniquity, to turn away thy captivity, but have been for thee false burdens and cause of banishment. That's right. So these the leaders of our people, which are really the leaders of the 2/3, they have led our people astray, which is also found in Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter, the first 3 verses, right? They have not visited our people, right? They have not fed them. They have not given them the truth. They led them astray. Lamentations 2 and 15, speaking of the nations, all that pass by, it says, clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head. Now over here in the NLT, it says, all who pass by jeer at you. They scoff and insult beautiful Jerusalem. Now I'm going to go back to the NLT or the KJV saying Jerusalem, or they hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? Are these the Israelites? is what the nations say. Or they don't, or they just downright don't even acknowledge that we exist, right? In the NLT, is this the city called most beautiful in all the world and the joy of all the earth? That's that comely and delicate woman when you read in Jeremiah, the 6th chapter, the 2nd verse, right? We're not known as that. We're not known as the joy of the whole earth. Verse 16, Lamentations 2:16, all thy enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it. So this is the destruction of the children of Israel, right? And this today, the fulfillment of that is being in Babylon, and the children of Israel now awakening by way of the elect, coming back to who we are, but thinking and remembering ourselves. So what's coming to the nations? Let's close it out with this. The book of Jeremiah 30 and verse 16. And it reads, it says, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, all of our enemies, right? Our adversaries, which we see clearly here, these will be our enemies, right? All of our adversaries. So even though this woman is an Elamite, she's still our adversary because she is not an Israelite, and an Israelite that has repented and returned, back to the truth. So now no longer are our enemies, who are the Lord calls less than nothing, no longer are they going to have, rule over us. Jeremiah 30:16, therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. So all these nations are going into slavery. This Elamite and her family, and so on and so forth, they're going into slavery. And all they that spoil thee shall be as spoil, and all they that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Verse 17, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith Yahweh, because they called thee once again, we read this earlier, an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. So all of our adversaries are going into slavery. All the nations. Let's get another one comes to mind. This is Revelation 13:10. And he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So the saints, the believers, are patiently waiting for these nations to go into slavery, right? And all of our adversaries, every one of them is going into captivity. So no one's going to escape the judgment, right? No matter what. There's not going to be any way to get out of the judgment that Yahweh Shemir Shah is about to bring on you heathen. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying, exhorting, and comforting unto you believers. I want to give all praises, infinite honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rukakwadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Halo Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All praises, infinite honor, and glory be to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, the God of heaven and earth, and of the 12 tribes of Israel, which consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Honors be to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and like-minded elders is teaching this word truthfully and in sincerity. Barak Yamlah, Habayaf, Madabadah. Blessings to the house of David, which are you brothers laboring on the four corners of the earth, and to the Akim and Akwath, the brothers and sisters that also listen and believe on the glorious gospel, which also make up the 1/3 of the nation of Israel. Unto you I say, Shalom.